Welcome to the Power of Care podcast with host Brianna Dance. On this show, we will take an in-depth look into personal and professional resilience on several different levels. This is a space for people who are trying to navigate the ups and downs of life successfully. Be sure to follow on Instagram at Power of Care Podcast and on YouTube at Power of Care_.
Hey everybody, so welcome back to the Power of Care podcast. Y'all, today I have an amazing guest, Ashley, somebody I've known for years, right? We are reconnecting after a long time.
Ooh, since we were, 13?
Yeah, middle school, high school.
Oh my gosh.
Y'all, so much has changed. We grown, we adults now. She got kids, married, businesses, all that stuff. So we're going to really get into what her life is like as a content creator, as a mom. She's a parent advocate for autism. And so we're just going to really get into her life transitions, personal resilience, and professional. So let's get started. All right, Ash. So how are you doing, girl?
I am balancing.
Yeah.
And that's a constant, it's a constant journey.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell people all the time, like, motherhood itself is a journey.
Yeah.
But then when you add in, I like to say, a little sprinkle of autism, there's other aspects that continue to push you. And I'm continuing to learn how to self-care through that, because motherhood is already hard. Yeah. Then having a child who has something a little extra going on just makes it even more exacerbated to being just overwhelming. So just trying to grow and find light and be self-care. I'm really working on trying to make sure my mental capacity is there.
Yeah.
So balancing is where I'm at. Like, I've been telling everybody, I even tell my boss, I don't have the capacity for that.
Yeah, come on now, new term. I just don't have it.
I just don't have it.
Yeah.
And funny enough, I learned that it's a woman at my church, and I love her dearly. I was asking her to be like my spiritual auntie.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I need you to tell me Bible verses and where do I need to be and how to pray and all. And she said, I don't have the capacity for that. Mm-hmm. While I want to help you, while I know your heart is pure, what I can do is lead you in the right direction. So she'll literally like text me, this is what's on my heart. This is what God told me for you to do. Mm-hmm. Do it. And then I won't hear from her, other than I'll see her at church, but I won't hear from her for like 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. And she's like, did you finish your assignment? So capacity being for, I can't mother you or auntie you how you need it to be, but I can still help you.
Mm.
And hey, if you want it, you take any help you can get.
Yeah, exactly. So, also, she like modeled for you how to do that.
Because she has a business, 3 kids. She's like an intercessor through and through. Mm-hmm. So I knew it would have been a big bite for her.
For sure.
But I also was grateful that even still she'll send me text messages or Mother's Day or whatever. She'll still make sure she connects with me because she knows that I'm yearning to grow.
Yeah.
But that taught me a lesson right there. And I don't think she got that at all. She was like, I just don't have the capacity.
Yeah.
So I've been literally running all around through Charlotte. Every time somebody, can you speak your son? Capacity. Because to be really transparent, when I had both my kids, they're only 14 months apart, I was hospitalized twice for exhaustion. I was trying to do everything, be everybody. At the time, I was teaching full time, and I didn't know how to say no. Mm-hmm. I was up all night and with the babies, trying to be mom, trying to be wife, trying to be in my job all late, teaching, and they don't pay us enough for that. But still, because I was surrounded by women who had the standard here, I'm trying to meet their standard.
Right.
And then when my blood pressure shot up and I was in the hospital, my eyes blurry and everything else, the doctor was like, you have to sit down. I didn't learn the first time. And God will embarrass you if you don't listen.
Okay. You'll take that test again.
he will embarrass you. So second kid comes around, I do the same thing. And it's the pandemic. So you would think I'm at home, so I should be chilling.
Right.
I do the same thing. Everywhere, I'm up all like trying to teach online, all the things. Hospitalized second time. And I think that's when it clicked. You got to start setting boundaries and understanding your capacity. I didn't know that yet, but setting your capacity of what you can do. Everything can't be 100%. But if I can give it 30% and it'd be quality 30.
Right.
I'm okay with that.
Right. Wow. So you're during the pandemic, you kind of, or during your pregnancy, on your journey to motherhood, right? You learned a really big lesson. Or I'm
Yeah.
sure, and still learning how to navigate it, right?
Yeah. I mean, as your kids grow, daycares, even advocating for my son, I'm still learning what my capacity is and what his capacity is. Because
Right.
he can't be everywhere either.
Yeah.
He got maybe an hour or two outside, and it's like, all right,
Ready to go.
I'm ready to go. Why is it so loud in here? It's usually
Yeah.
just to telltale we need to go.
Absolutely. So Ash, can you I mean, wow, you have two little ones. How old are they?
2 and 3. I'm
Two
crazy.
and three. Oh my gosh. They're so cute, by the way.
Thank
I
you.
love your family.
Thank
And
you.
so take me back when it goes to, you said exhaustion during your pregnancies and having to be sat down and things like that. You talked about autism, that extra special something, right? With
Mm-hmm.
your son. So tell me what that was like for you when you heard the diagnosis, or was it hard to get that diagnosis?
I think all the degrees that I have in education, I love a master's degree. About to go get another one. Um, I knew something was off around 12 months.
Okay.
I saw a little bit of something going on,
Mhm.
but of course, we're Black.
Mhm.
He just bad. He'll
Right.
grow out of it.
Yeah.
It's not that big of a deal. You're being crazy. So everybody's gaslighting me.
Right.
Oh, that's just a little extra, a little weird.
Mhm.
And so while I'm on the hunt for a diagnosis for him, I'm pregnant. So my emotions are up and down, and I was throwing up every day with her. I had blood at one point in time at like 17 weeks. So I was thinking I was miscarrying. So
Mhm.
I was put on bed rest. Like it was a lot going on during that time period. And I'm still looking at my son like, something's a little different.
Right.
So I fight. I'm asking his pediatrician, who's a Black male. So he was very hesitant. And I knew he loves my children, but I knew why he was hesitant because I'm a teacher. So when you get into those spaces of education and we start throwing around labels,
Mm.
we're the first people to say, no, 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 no.
Yeah.
Let's wait. Let's see it out. Because we don't want to label every kid with something, especially every little Black boy. And that was his thing. This is a Black boy. We got to be careful with how we label him. So I understood. But again, I'm like, something's not right.
Mhm.
So a year goes on. I do all the tests. I mean, every test that the state of North Carolina offers me, I do it.
Mhm.
He's extremely smart. That's all I kept saying. He's just really smart. He's ahead. He's ahead of all his milestones. But I was like, he's social emotional. He doesn't like being around people. He parallel played a lot.
Mhm.
He would cry, and not just normal cries where like maybe 5-10 minutes, and they would self-soothe. He would cry about something for an hour.
Mhm.
And textures and shirts didn't feel right, and I don't want to wear that, and all of the even now, his new thing is he doesn't like things being closed.
Mhm.
So every door in his house for the most part is open. And that bothers him.
Yeah.
So he starts daycare. He's having difficulty at daycare.
For sure.
I give birth at the same time. So emotions and hormones are
Taking over.
And they're like, something you might want to, because they can't tell you, but they're like, you might want to check into that.
Mhm.
So again, I go back to his pediatrician. I said, no, I need something. I get signed up for a developmental peds doctor. That's a 6-month wait.
Oh my gosh.
That was a year. It's a year to a year and a half.
Woo.
6 months to a year. And in some communities, it's up to a year and a half. Because what we're seeing is that if they don't have a little autism, they got ADHD, ODD, speech delays, all the things that I think in our generation, we're a generation now, but our generation, our parents were like, they'll figure it out.
Yeah. Exactly.
So, and even for myself in college, I had learning disabilities and I didn't figure it out until I got to college. And they were like, no, you need tutors.
Mhm.
And I was like, well, I was always smart. I had other issues.
Yeah.
So, long story short, my husband takes him. I'm stuck teaching summer school because broke.
Okay.
And I was on the phone and they said, well, he has level 1 autism. It doesn't affect his intellectual ability because he actually scored extremely high. His IQ is through the roof. He's 3 right now, but he's on multiplication in algebra.
Wow.
Right. But
Right.
socially,
Mm-hmm.
emotional regulation, like every emotion is extremely big.
Yeah.
So I got the diagnosis, and I would be lying to say that the breath out of my body didn't leave for a second.
Right.
I think it was just because I've been a teacher and I know what that role looks like. It was easier for me to bring it back and be like, okay, next steps. But as I talk to moms who are on the same journey, I'm very understanding that for some of them, they go through like a grief period.
Mm-hmm.
Like as if somebody has died, because you're essentially not going to have the same childhood that you already envisioned for your child.
Right.
So you go through the hate, you're mad at everybody, it's wrong, the crying. And I know a lot of moms, even myself, I cry that my son's never going to have a normal childhood because we're going to always have to have some boundaries or requirements to make sure that he is comfortable.
Yeah.
So even talking about friends, he's never been in an environment to really make friends.
Right.
So now therapy and all the things, he's at a place where we can now start working towards him developing his own community.
Yeah.
But you go through that period, and every mom does. Everybody was different. I'm not a big crier,
Mm-hmm.
but I go to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
So I take all my frustrations, pain. Yeah, you guys talk in therapy. I tell everybody, and I'm not one of those who do therapy for long periods of time. I usually jump in and out
Mm-hmm.
as I feel myself dipping.
Right.
But I tell every mom, regardless of if your child is neurodivergent or not, you should be in therapy.
Mm-hmm.
But especially if they have something extra going on, you need that release.
Yeah.
Because I've even had moms tell me they have resentment.
Mm.
Or they carry guilt. Was it a little bit of the alcohol?
Right.
Was it the weed? Whatever. Did I cause my child to have autism?
Yeah.
Or any whatever.
Yeah.
So it's a journey.
Journey.
You're learning, and I have to, because if I don't learn and grow with him, who's going to advocate for him like I need him to?
Right.
Or he needs me to.
Right. Wow. I mean, that is, thank you for being so transparent. I'm a mental health therapist. I work in a school, so I do have some understanding of some of it, but not in your shoes. And you have a dual role. So you educator for 8+ years, right?
Mm-hmm.
And also a mom of someone that has special needs, right? So what does that do to you?
A couple of years ago, one of my close friends, she's actually a therapist.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm real down and out and I haven't enrolled in therapy again, I'll call her and I need to pay my copay. And she knows what time it is.
Yeah.
And it was me, her, and another friend, and we're sitting there, and I'm still going through it with Deuce, trying to figure out what is going on with him.
Mm-hmm.
And she looked at me and she said, "When you gonna be his mama and not his teacher?"
Ooh.
And so I hear it, because it's in every mom that's a teacher or a teacher that's a mom, whatever. They all say the same thing, because it's like, I know both sides.
Yeah.
How can I just stand still in one end of the spectrum when I can be in both? But sometimes I find myself more on the academic side than me and his mom.
Mm-hmm.
And so I need friends or my husband or somebody to say, we need mom right now. We don't need Mrs. Crenshaw.
Yeah.
But it's so hard because internally you did all the studying, all the degrees and everything that you've learned to know how to navigate both areas. But for me, I see it as a superpower. Sometimes it does hinder me emotionally, but I can go, and people tell me all the time, schools are going to hate you.
Yes. Yeah. Wow.
Because I know what I'm talking about. Oh. And even now I'm a parent advocacy coach. So I teach moms in lower socioeconomic communities how to advocate for their children. I've had moms be in the middle of a parent-teacher conference, call me up and say, "Miss Crenshaw, what do I need to say? Because something about that doesn't seem right." And I'll say, "Put me on speaker."
I know that's right.
And they'll tell me, or I'll text it out if they can't get on the phone. or I've been there. And I'd be like, you agree? No? Okay. But knowing that helps me sometimes, but it does hurt me because I look at him sometimes as my student and not my son or my daughter. Even for her, I'm on her neck. And she's 2, but I'm like, it kind of helps me sometimes, but sometimes I'm like, I need to just be her mommy and not just with the flashcards. What letter is this? What color is this? What number is this? 2 + 2 is what?
Yeah.
So we're learning.
It's a blessing, but it's also something that has to be managed, it sounds like.
Yes, it definitely has to be managed, but also for me, I feel like it has helped me more than it's hurt me. So I try to stay with that. Like I tell people all the time, my friends used to tease me, why is Deuce, why is Cece, all they watch is learning things on TV. I mean, they watch Paw Patrol and stuff like that periodically, but I make technology work for me. I read up on shows that make sense.
Yeah.
So we're not watching SpongeBob. We don't watch TV. Like people think I'm crazy. My kids really don't watch TV throughout the week. We're going to pick up a book. We're going to go outside and play. What my goal is in the next maybe month or so is that we start gardening. Because my son came to me the other day and said, do you know the life cycle of a plant? And I looked at him like, who you been talking to?
Where did you get this? Sounds like a genius to me.
Oh, baby. He's something else. But understanding that there's so many other ways I could teach you while you have fun. I don't want you, and I don't want to spend my time and your time staring at the TV. I don't really even watch TV. It'll be on in the background, but being intentional about my time, because when we leave this earth, I can't get that back.
Right. Yeah. Wow. Your kids are going to be prepared. All is what I hear. Okay.
Prepared or in therapy.
Or both.
Or both. Or both, because standards are high.
Right. Now, tell me about your village. You kind of mentioned one of your friends. You have a therapist. You have people. You have your husband. Tell me about your village, because I know that probably doing it alone can be, if you can imagine, could be really challenging. But who's helped you? Who's helping Deuce? Who's helping the family?
Oh Lord, village. So the village is kind of split because I have my village that's just mentally there for me.
Yep. Okay.
And then I have a village that's there for my family. But it was kind of hard to start that village at first because we're dealing with Black people and a diagnosis.
Yeah.
So, I'm like, that boy got autism. He's smart. No, you don't. I don't believe it. We're going to pray on it. We're going to pray it out of him. All those things. So having to kind of reteach everybody what autism looks like, especially too because he's verbal.
Right.
And I think sometimes that really doesn't connect. They think that autism just looks one way. And I try to educate people and say, your pediatrician or your doctor or your dentist or whoever who's really, really smart, who doesn't look you in the eyes and is very quick with you, they probably have a little touch of autism. And so trying to help my mom, who's born in the 60s, and my dad, who's born in the 60s, who I will say I'm very blessed with the fact that they, especially my dad, quick adjustment. Okay, he can't be yelled at. We can't old school parent him. We can't whoop him. We can't, all those things don't work for him. That's going to trigger him. The TV can't be on 68.
Yeah.
He has to be talked to. So those things have been easier for him, but we have friends that we had to kind of bring it to their attention. And what I love is that my community that works with our family, birthday parties we get invited to. We're surrounded by a bunch of girls though. So that's really our biggest issue. Gotcha. Everybody has a girl. He's like the only boy. I like 20 girls. It's crazy. Wow. But birthday parties, they'll love on him. I was at a birthday party one time actually with the same friend. And he was having a moment, like a real moment. And me and my husband was like, and what I love is that my friend's husband's mom, when we were going through the thick of it, she was a part of it too, because she had taught in preschool for a couple of years, or like 20 some years. She grabbed him and she got him together. And she didn't hit him, she didn't yell at him, but she got him together. And what I love, and she was like, I'm sorry, it clicked and I said, no, I actually needed that break.
Yeah.
Go handle that.
Yes.
Take care of that for me. I appreciate it a lot.
Yeah.
And so they all jump in sometimes when they see me and my husband are exhausted. Those meltdowns, those crying phases, that's a lot sometimes to handle. My friends, for me, I'm surrounded by so many therapists. My best friend's a child psychologist and social worker.
Wow.
Another friend has all the degrees in psychological, or what is it? Is it psychological or something? I don't know. Something dealing with mental health.
Yeah.
So they hold me up on the days where I'm usually strong, where I'm not strong anymore. But it's hard for me to crumble and feel safe crumbling.
Yeah.
So like me and my husband, we have to crumble sometimes separately.
Yeah.
He has to crumble with his community and I need to crumble with my community because we can't see each other falling apart, because I need to look at him and know he's got it, and he needs to look at me and know that I got it.
Yeah.
Which I love for our community. We'll call and our friends will be like, okay, y'all got it. You're actually doing a hell of a job. They encourage us. But having friends who are okay and understand what their diagnosis is. And my friend tells me, she's my best friend in the world. She says his autism gonna get us out of here. He gonna take us to the
Thing.
right. He's gonna take us to Harvard.
Yes.
So they love on him so much that it's easy for me, but I could never, ever imagine doing this by myself.
Yeah.
And I have moms that I work with who children have that diagnosis, or they know it, or they're working towards it. But it's a weight that's so heavy. Those tantrums, those days where they're crying, or they have insomnia and they're up all night. A lot of that I couldn't imagine doing by myself. I think I'm only so strong because my village lifts me up so much.
Yeah. Do you think that's why you are a coach? You're an advocate for that? Like, how did you land on that role or that?
So being a parent teacher advocate was more so just seeing so many Black little boys and girls not be treated properly in the public education system. That's really, and I've always been loud. I mean, you know that, but always been loud. But that was a gift I didn't know how to nurture and grow. I was just loud. And I thank God for the education that I had, especially when I was in high school, where they really helped me kind of nurture that and piece it together and have confidence behind it. And then when I got to college, my coaches, so I ended up tearing my right rotator cuff and my Achilles in college, like back to back within 6 months of each other.
This is from basketball.
Basketball.
Ooh, y'all, she's an athlete now too.
So what my coach told me is this. She said, you have a gift. So I wasn't the same player anymore at all. Wasn't all something in PG County. That was not my gift anymore. But she said, because I still see something in you, I'm going to still pay for this school. And while I didn't play as much, or I was still I spent one whole year trying to figure out how to walk. So while I was not the same advocate, I learned how to coach my teammates, how to talk to them, how to find misconceptions in their game and be able to nurture them like, hey, go baseline. She's not paying attention, all those things. So the coaching was built in those moments. Whoa. But again, I had a coach who wasn't willing to throw me away because she said, you've always done what was right. It doesn't mean I was perfect. Right. I was having a good time. Okay. But I was right. But my grades were right. I was always respectable. When we had speaking engagements, I would speak. Mind you, I'm not the teammate that's scoring 20 points a game. Right. At all. But I would be the one that, we need you to do a commercial. Let me utilize your gift.
Girl, it was built in. It was built in.
So that's why I became a coach. Now, when it comes to being an autism advocate, you don't see many women that look like me talking about autism.
No, you do not.
And finding jokes and laughing about it and doing the research and I have hundreds, and I'm not exaggerating at all, of messages of moms saying, thank you. Thank you. It's nice to see somebody that looks like me that's talking about it, because in our community, you don't tell nobody that. And I had somebody tell me, you shouldn't be telling everybody that he has autism. And I was like, why not? If I go somewhere and he freaks out because it's loud, I need you to know why.
Mm-hmm.
Or when I'm at church and he's having a moment, those church mothers go grab my baby.
Mm-hmm.
And they know exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
You need to tell people how to treat your baby. When you hide that, he's just bad. He need a whooping.
Mm-hmm.
They don't make the proper adjustments.
Right.
So I don't mind telling anybody anything. And I think there's so much freedom and transparency.
Yeah.
But in the Black community, we're so scared to let somebody know what's going on in our house.
Yeah.
But sometimes if you just crack that door, you can free somebody else.
Mm.
And I think that's where I'm at. I feel like I have. And just based on the conversations, I've freed moms to be like, one mom told me, I literally didn't start sharing my journey until I saw you doing it.
Mm.
And I was like, girl, I'm just posting.
I'm just talking, right?
I'm just talking. And she was like, you don't know how much power is in the fact that you were so transparent.
Mm.
And I was like, if it wasn't me, then who? Because my story, while I do have so many, I like to say community builders, influencer just throws me off, but community builders that are white or Hispanic who have children who have autism, their journey doesn't look the same as mine. When you have people telling you you're crazy or you have to fight like hell to go see a pediatric developmental, all the things, you have to, in daycares alone, having to explain to the daycare, no, he needs all these things to happen or he's just not going to have a good time.
Right.
You're going to be calling me every day.
Yeah.
Their story looks different. Now, while I don't hate that, I love that they can still share their story. I want to be transparent about the Black community and what being a mom of a Black little boy who has autism and what that looks like. Mm-hmm. Who's also gifted. I don't know what to do. He just showed me the other day he know how to do algebra. I don't know what to do with that.
At this age.
And they're like, did you show him that? Girl,
no. It's a lot going on in his brain.
But talking about how we need to nurture that.
Yeah.
How do you nurture that? How do you find your gift in your special needs child?
Wow.
And how do I one day explain to him that you have special needs? Like I had a situation a couple of weeks ago with a teacher who said that he was having a tantrum, and his tantrums are big. Mm-hmm. She said that it scared her. Mm-hmm. And I had to quickly correct her and say, you don't say that a Black 3-year-old boy scares you for multiple reasons. Mm-hmm. Because if you say that, what would stop somebody from calling the police? What would stop somebody from calling the police shooting him, even though he has something that he cannot control?
Yeah.
Those are the conversations that we're having over here that might not be happening over there.
Yeah.
Because now I have to prep my son for, you got something else going on, but when you go out in the world and mommy's not with you anymore, you need to be able to advocate for yourself.
Yeah.
Like he told the teacher the other day, they had combined classes. It's too many kids in here. Mm-hmm. I can't do this. Mm-hmm. Spent the whole day in the front office because he knew if he would have got in there, he'd have been overwhelmed.
Yeah.
He would have been crying or something wild would have happened. They'd have called me. Let me go ahead and start talking and speaking for myself. I can't do this.
Were you proud of him? I mean, that's so amazing.
I'm extremely proud of him.
Yes.
Because there's going to be, while I do not teach anymore, I'm never naive to what a school looks like.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know who that boy's teacher is going to be.
Yeah.
I need him to stand in the gaps until I get there. Mm-hmm. Or till his dad gets there, or his grandfather, whoever.
Yeah.
I need you to be able to handle yourself. You need to be able to advocate for yourself. Because, I mean, to be honest, we advocate for ourselves all the time.
We do.
Some of us are just learning how to advocate for ourselves.
Exactly.
So, girl, it's a lot.
It's a lot, but Ashley, you are like, how selfless of you. And I know it's not easy because I know take me through maybe a plot twist, right, in life where, you kind of shared already something that was so hard and difficult in the moment or in the season, but you look back and you're like, okay, this was fruitful. Like I see God. I mean, I heard you when you even talked about the coaching thing and how God used that, so what, can you think of anything that you want to share that was a plot twist in your life that ended up being fruitful?
Leaving teaching.
Wow.
If you would have asked me 2 years ago, I'm going to die in this classroom. I'm gonna ride it out. I love teaching.
I
While
love
I still
kids.
love teaching,
Yeah.
I kept seeing the same thing.
Mhm.
Same little kids that coming in with these big old gaps in their education. I'm like, good Lord, what's going on? Their mom's coming to me. Miss Crenshaw, I don't know what to do. Such and such has happened. He didn't get what he needed last year. I'm like, or his behavior is all out of sorts. So I spend my whole year getting them together. I like to use little Jamal for some reason. I get little Jamal together. And then he go to third and fourth grade. And all the habits that I've put in, that I've taught him, have gone to hell. I keep putting in all this work. And I bust my butt for 1 year. And I don't see it transpire in anything else. I realized that in there, I have to start with the nucleus. And that's the mom, not the child.
Yes.
So I keep pushing for a child to make change in their house that they don't control. But now working with moms, teaching them the importance of having a bedtime and telling them that it's not only just so the kid, feels good in the morning and they have a good day. You can also find freedom in the fact that they go to bed at 7:30, 8:30 at night. That's your time to be self-caring.
Come on. Yes.
But we don't think about that at all. We're just like,
reverse. It's like people think about that reverse. Like,
yeah,
the kid and then you'll be okay. When it's really start from the top.
Me.
Mommy.
My girlfriend told me, and I stole this from her. She was like, I'm honestly my best self when my kids are in bed at 8 o'clock, and I spend 8 to 10 journaling, praying, cooking, staring at my phone. And people like to lie and say they don't like just stroll for hours, but there's something in that is self-care for some people.
Yes.
Taking a bath, whatever, studying, being in school, whatever it is, you find that joy when your kids go to bed at the same time every night until you start a habit.
Yeah.
But we didn't understand that. Or talking about your baby don't need McDonald's every day. Like, I know financially it could be tough, but let's look into some programs in the community that's giving out fresh produce.
Yeah.
So I've had so many moms reach out to me that I work with. They're like, you helping me so much. And I also don't talk down to them.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things, black, white, purple, blue, when you get into such a position of authority, people start to have conversations a little differently.
Yeah. That power dynamic.
Yeah. All of a sudden, you talking to them as if you're their mom, or you got it all together when you don't. And I tell them all the time, I love to be transparent with them so they know that I'm not blowing smoke up their butt. I'm telling you from data, from stuff that I've read, but also I'm telling you this because I've been through it. Yeah. Like I taught a class the other day, actually about 2 weeks ago. It's called Reparenting Yourself. And how to reparent yourself when your parents caused you nothing but trauma. And a hot topic was whoopings.
Uh-oh. That's always going to be a hot topic in our community.
And I said, how many of y'all whoop out of frustration with yourself? Your job, it was a crazy day at your job. Your Buddha made you mad. The child support didn't come through. You stressed about groceries. So while that child is being a child, and we're not going to excuse their behavior, but that doesn't always mean you put your hands on them. Right. And I told them about how I would pop Deuce when he would frustrate me, but realizing that some of that was his tism. Right. He couldn't control what he had going on. And one day I popped him, he just looked at me and said, I don't like when you hit me. It really hurts my feelings. Wow. And I'm like, do I want that to be how you remember me? Right. Or do you want it to be where I talked with you and you still have to be disciplined, but it might not be me putting my hands on you. Right. It can look different. So I've worked on timeout and sticker charts and all the other things. And I told them that you don't always have to punish them by putting your hands on them. Right. Because sometimes it hurts you more than it hurts them in your relationship. Yeah. But that was where I've started to really make my change. And I always feel like when it's my time to go, God's going to ask me like, girl, what you do? Yeah. What did you do to better my world? And I can be like, I done helped all these mamas.
Yeah.
I done taught all these kids.
Yeah.
I've been trying to make a positive imprint in this world when it comes to autism. And I always said I was going to leave teaching with a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't going to leave and work at a bank.
Right.
That wasn't going to fulfill me. I don't want to wake up every day and hate my job.
Right.
So this move was literally God's footsteps. It was nothing but God.
Yeah.
So
Nothing
yeah.
but God. Thank you so much for sharing that plot twist. I kind of want to end on the we've been talking about self-care,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the importance of mom having that time, right? Whatever that looks like. What resource, what podcast, music, whatever, what quote, anything can you share with maybe a mom or dad listening who is trying to parent, someone with autism?
I would say you need a hobby,
Mm-hmm.
a good hobby. That does not mean anything recreational, because
Healthy
there,
hobby, right?
but there are moms, and that's been a conversation, especially in the autism community, who are drinking and smoking their sorrows away.
Yeah.
And so and while it is enjoyment for some,
Mm-hmm.
you can also slip into depression if you do it too much.
Right.
So what I've done, and when I call my friend and I tell her I need my copay ready, she'll tell me we'll have our session. She's like, you need to go to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't realize until later on in life how much playing basketball was therapy for me.
Wow.
Because my brain shuts off for a second.
Yeah.
I'm just moving.
Mm.
But now I move and I have gospel music playing.
Yeah.
Like I usually start my day, not even usually, I start my day for the first hour to 2, which is praise and worship.
Mm-hmm.
And it settles my soul. So even when days are hard, when daycare's calling me, when we have doctor's appointment or therapy, or he just had a horrible night and he's crying, I can lean on God.
Yeah.
And I can sit in his presence for a little while and I can feel okay and all the things. What I know from my husband, he likes to go on walks. So physically moving. Some people like to just listen to music. I'm a listener, but I like to do other things as well. I say find a hobby. I have a girlfriend who started knitting.
Wow.
Gardening. Step outside of yourself a little bit.
Yeah.
But journaling. I'm not a journaler just because my handwriting sucks. But but I know some people who do that. Listen to podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
I do have a podcast I like. It's called The Read.
Mm-hmm.
Kid Fury and Crystal.
Mm-hmm.
It's just because it provides me with a good laugh.
Yeah.
And sometimes you need to just
laugh. Yeah.
Laugh. I'm not a big TV watcher like that. I have a couple of shows, but I catch them when I catch them or I have a moment.
Mm-hmm.
But you need to also be in therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Period. It's a weight. And sometimes for some people it feels like a curse. It feels like a blessing. I feel honored some days that God thought that I could handle this. And some days I feel like I did something wrong because he thought I could handle this.
Yeah, wow.
And you blow back and forth between. But if I didn't have the alignment of therapy, God, and a hobby like the gym,
yeah,
I don't know where I would be dealing with this.
Yeah.
You need something to do.
You need something. Therapy, God, and a hobby.
And a hobby.
Therapy. I love that, Ash. Like that, I literally got goosebumps hearing. I mean, I don't know what you just said, but like I'm gonna replay that because you what did you say? You said some days it feels like, you're
some days it feels like an honor that God thought that I could do this.
Mm-hmm.
And some days it feels like a curse.
Yeah.
And I'll have some questions when I get up there.
Absolutely.
What you see? What you see?
Don't you love that about our relationship with God? You can, Lord, what was going on? What were you thinking?
But maybe that's why my mouth is so big. Maybe that's why he gave me parents that let me talk so much.
Yeah.
Like maybe it was all building and I never knew.
It was all a part of the plan.
It was all a part of my journey.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm grateful.
I'm so grateful, Ash. I mean, this is amazing. My connection to autism and children that experience this or going through this or parents, my aunt. I have cousins that are on the spectrum,
Ooh.
and they all graduate from high school, thriving. I'm so proud of my cousin Tyler. His interest is culinary, so he's
Oh,
like,
you stepping it up.
oh, he's chefing it up, and so it's just such a joy to see. Like I mean, I really respect and love my aunt so much, and to
People, I don't know why we think a diagnosis stops the
yeah.
show.
Oh, my aunt does not let anybody use that as a crutch. She was like,
Some, they feel like, oh, they just can't, anything is possible, because who's to say we don't have anything?
exactly, undiagnosed, walking around here.
And there's so many adults now that are getting diagnosed with autism. It's ridiculous.
Wow.
I know several that were like, I didn't know what was wrong with me. And you kept talking about it, and you would name something, and I'd be like, maybe that's me.
Yeah.
So they went to go get checked out, and they were like, no, you have level 1 autism.
Yeah.
Level 1 meaning like high functioning, but they've gotten rid of high functioning.
Right.
But you still, it just means you're a little quirky.
Yeah.
Got a little touch of the
all wired differently, and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
The Bible said we're wonderfully complex.
Yes. Love that. It makes us who we are.
Yeah.
And my son's probably going to be an amazing architect, business, something, engineer.
I mean, math, he's already on task.
He loves math.
That's amazing.
And he loves, like, he's so particular. He was a dentist for like 6 months. So he had all this stuff. And your breath is hot. So we're going to have to work on his customer service. But that could be his lane.
Yeah.
And trying to introduce them to things that we don't think that, or the society says they cannot do.
Yeah.
Because there's so many kids that are so gifted.
Yeah. That's amazing. Ash, I'm so grateful. Thank you for being on my podcast.
No problem.
I can't wait to see like where things go, to see him grow up, to see both of your kids.
I'm excited. This journey, we're praying on the idea of him being skipped.
Yeah.
What does that look like?
Right. We
got a lot going on, but all his Instagram aunties and uncles.
Listen, he has a community behind him. Does he know?
People, I don't even know. It's so weird how people will call me or text me, or my mom or my dad, and who are not on any social media at all, and be like, I seen Deuce and I'm just so proud of him. Or I'm so proud of your daughter and the way she's carrying this. And it's like, I'm carrying it every day differently.
Yeah.
Just because I'm not laid out in the spirit on live. That don't mean that I'm just out here finessing.
Right.
But I'm excited for him. And I know that God has a plan. And he loves himself some Jesus at that.
Come on, Deuce.
So.
I love that. Girl, who knows? He may be following in mommy's footsteps being a speaker. We just don't know.
I don't know. I just don't see that. My husband works with numbers.
Oh, okay. So he may be towards that situation. Okay.
And finances or
wow.
Or whatever he does. And he works in Excel files all day. And when I say he has like 3 monitors of Excel files that he's flowing in and out of all day.
Wow.
My son's brain is his father's brain.
Wow.
My daughter is more me. She's silly. She's goofy. She's going to laugh. We're going to have a good time.
Yeah.
They're both very, very serious people.
Wow. Well, I'm so glad that there's balance. Aren't you glad?
Yeah, we have a good time over here. Yeah. We all got a little something going on.
Yes. All right, Ash. Well, thank you so much. And how can we follow you online?
On Instagram, it's O with 6 H's _Ashley. And right now I'm building, so follow me. There's link trees coming. There's products coming. Lots of things coming. Just give me a second.
Yes.
I'm working my capacity.
Okay, y'all, if anything, please check in with the capacity, self-care. She has dropped so many gems. Okay. Yeah.
So that's it.
All right, Ash. Well, you have a good one.
Thanks for tuning in to the Power of Care podcast. If you'd like to hear more, be sure to follow us on Instagram at Power of Care Podcast. And be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube at Power of Care _.